Eileen Gray was a designer from the 1920s through to the 1970s. Her unique ability to question traditional design methods in order to create something new separated her from other designers of her time. Yet, due to this ability, it became apparent that she questioned more than just design, and ultimately her own life. Most of Gray's designs incorporated lacquer into the overall structure or form of her designs. Through two teachers, Charles Dean, in which she was introduced to lacquerwork for the first time, and Seizo Sugawara, who came from a Japanese village talented for their lacquerwork, Gray herself became quite skilled in applying the material. During the time, other materials like stainless steel were being introduced, which vastly expanded the possibilities for design, as it became a better substitute for copper, iron, and carbon steel, due to its strength, shiny texture, and ability to never corrode. This was even more beneficial for Gray, as she was now designing at a time when new materials and functions were being introduced to the design world, and thus had a focus on combining her lacquer with metal-like structures. One design in particular demonstrates her process with questioning a basic drawer and transforming it into something completely different in form and structure, achieving the same purpose but in a more effective manner. The pivoting drawers originally started with a gradual progression of incorporating drawers that could turn out in multiple directions, rather than just forward or back. Through these iterations, she kept questioning the traditional standards until she reached a design that gave the drawers a new identity and increased function. The drawers were able to turn out to multiple positions via an axis on one corner of the drawer that ran down to the ground, in which each corner of the drawers was attached. This allowed more flexibility and usability for the individual, as it gave a more open and accessible view to put away and take out clothing and items. As she progressed her early designs of furniture and experimenting with materials, through questioning old design methods, she began to grow in popularity, allowing her to expand her areas of design from furniture, slowly into interior design, and eventually, architecture. This turned out to be good timing for Gray, as her career expanded just at the right time when the world around her began to change. After World War I, new technology opened up new possibilities for multiple occupational fields. One field in particular was design and architecture. During the 1920s and 30s, technological and social change started to characterize the end of the 19th century and start of the 20th. As population started to grow, there was a pressure on more efficient and sustainable methods of living, which slowly led to the birth of modernism. Modernism outlined that there should be a need for more simple and more efficient designs, which applied to not just architecture, but design and art as a whole. This was also the time Eileen Gray started to move into interior and architectural design, allowing her to progress her capabilities and career further. World War II was similar in the fact of introducing new technology and increased production methods, allowing designers to break away even further from traditional design methods. Although the period of time was good for design and technology, it was also a period of inequality. Gender equality was slowly progressing into a worldwide issue, in which Gray was impacted by, as her industry was heavily male-dominated during the time. Although this proved hard for Gray with her ability to question the old ways of design within a predominantly male industry, she was still able to progress her career, continuing on from furniture and learning about architecture. However, as much as she avoided being affected by the idea of a male-dominant industry, she was able to create her greatest piece of design, a design that also led to the downfall of her career and her life. The E1027 villa, designed for herself and her lover, Jean Bardovici. Jean Bardovici was a Romanian architect and editor of an influential European publication called L'Architecture Vivante. During Bardovici and Gray's time together, Bardovici would eventually include her design of the E1027 villa in his magazine, announcing himself as its joint architect. Unfortunately, this became a slowly repetitive nature for Bardovici, as Gray would go on to create 9 buildings and renovations, 4 of which were credited to Bardovici. Although Bardovici ended up playing an oppressive force for Gray and her work, another individual would not only oppress but desecrate her work entirely, the famous Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier is considered to be the father of modernism. Bardovici invited Le Corbusier to visit the E1027 villa, in which Corbusier was amazed by the structure of the building, declaring that it had given modern architecture and design a form that is so dignified, so charming and full of wit. However, Corbusier eventually developed an unhealthy obsession with the villa. As this obsession grew, Gray and Bardovici's relationship deteriorated, and both ended up moving out of E1027. As both Gray and Bardovici no longer lived there, Le Corbusier continued with his obsession for the villa, to the point where he painted 8 murals on the interior walls of E1027. The murals, accordingly, represented Le Corbusier's frustration at his failure to possess Gray as a lover and subject. Le Corbusier once stated that Gray was supposed to be the naked woman in one of the murals. Gray, shocked, appalled, grief-stricken, a defacement of her greatest design and love for Bardovici, she deemed this an act of vandalism. It is evident through Le Corbusier that the murals also hold sexist undertones, as he later wanted to downplay Gray's contributions to the villa, indicating a level of jealousy and suppression of Eileen Gray's work. This may have been the reason why she never resurfaced until the 1960s and 70s, questioning what had happened to her and questioning her own life as opposed to creating and questioning design. Soon, her credit was restored as historians discovered her as the rightful creator of her designs. Although she had her credit restored and continued to design until her death in 1976 at the age of 98, she would have continued to rethink old methods of design as well as the ideas behind them, which is why, in order to create, one must first question everything.